If you hadn't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, iPad, or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and so many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. So, get off your feet and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Today is the big day. We are dropping the very first episode of Evolve America right now. I'm so excited for you guys to finally have the opportunity to listen in on these exciting conversations with Alabama legislators. So from wherever you are, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But most importantly, let's evolve America one conversation at a time. Hey you guys, this is Kadita with Evolve America, evolving America one conversation at a time. And today we have Representative Corley Ellis, and I'm so excited to have him. So, Representative Ellis, can you let us know where you're from?
Absolutely. First, let me say thank you for having me. This is my first podcast, and so I'm excited about that. But yes, I'm from Shelby County. My hometown is Columbiana, Alabama, small town, just about 25 miles southeast of Birmingham is how you get there. But it's about 3,500 people, maybe 4,000, something like that, small town.
Okay. So what, that's the area that you represent, correct?
It is. I represent the southeast part of Shelby County. So Columbiana is the county seat of Shelby County, but I also represent Calera and Chelsea, Wilsonville, but it's all along the southeast part of the county.
Okay, yeah. So what exactly does that mean to be a representative and represent a certain area? What all can you do?
Yeah, so we all run in different districts. As you know, in the House of Representatives, 105 of us, so we all represent different parts of the state. And when you do, we're kind of the go-to. If you've got a complaint about statewide politics or what's happening in your district, in that geographic district, I'm the go-to guy. You come to me and you voice your complaint. If you have an issue that maybe I can help you with, you come to me. So that I represent that district, and I'm their voice here in Montgomery when we're in session like we are currently. So that's my job.
So if a person had a complaint about a power bill, they wouldn't call you, right?
Well, they could. They
could.
They very well could, because something like the power bill. And I tell people all the time, call me. I may can help you, I may not, but call me and I'll point you in the right direction, even if it's not in the realm of what I do. I can point you in the right direction. Your example of Alabama Power, a power bill, not necessarily Alabama Power, but a power bill, they're regulated by the Public Service Commission. And so we've got, connections and some oversight where we can talk with those folks. So if you've got a complaint that your bill's too high for whatever reason, we can point you in the right direction and get you in touch with the right people. And that, and it's not just power bills, it's anything to do with pretty much anything. We can get you in touch with the people. If we can't help you, we can get you in touch with the people who can. So I tell people all the time, call me. Just call me and I'll help you any way I can. Sometimes it's directly, but more times than not, it's going to be indirectly by just putting you in touch with the right people. Yeah. So clearly, you're all about serving people. And love it.
Yeah. Did you ever see yourself here being representative, or was this just
It's funny. My dad was in politics way back in the early 80s, and I actually served as a page. He was in the Senate, and I was a page here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't in this building. It was across the street in the old Capitol.
Yeah.
In the old days, and so watching my dad serve politically kind of instilled the desire to be a public servant myself, and so. In 2006, I was lucky enough to get appointed by then Governor Bob Riley to the Shelby County Commission. So that started, I served on other nonprofit boards and things like that and served that way, but that was my first political job was there, and I stayed there 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Until I ran for this seat when this House seat District 41 came open, I ran for it.
Okay.
Then I came to Montgomery. So I'd had in my mind that I wanted to serve, people and be a public servant for a long time. I just never knew what path that would carry me to.
Yeah.
And I tell people, everything good in my life that's ever happened, I didn't plan. I just kind of meandered through life, and here I am. So I didn't know where that desire to serve publicly would lead me.
Yeah.
But here I am. This is where it's led me to, and I'm very humbled and excited and love the public service part of it. I love when people call and need help with something. Even if you can't help them, if you try, if you put a genuine effort into trying to help people, they appreciate that.
They do.
Very few times do people end up angry and upset and mad because I couldn't help them, because they saw the effort that I put in, and I love that part of it. I love helping people and love trying to help people and trying to solve problems, and so that part of it I absolutely love. I love getting the phone calls. I love talking to people. I love meeting people. So it's fun to me. It really is.
Yeah, and you talked about you did nonprofit work. Like I've experienced a nonprofit as well, and like that's something you cannot do unless you really love to serve people. So
you gotta love it.
You gotta.
You got to love it.
You have to. So can you talk about your nonprofit work that you did?
Yeah, I've done some work with the American Cancer Society.
Okay.
That was way back in another life. That was a long time ago. But then I served on chamber boards and served on a group called CASA of Shelby County, which is a court-appointed special advocate, which they help children that are going through the court system for various reasons. It kind of holds their hand through the process and makes it as less intimidating as they can.
Yeah.
And so I served on that. I actually started my own nonprofit in memory of my best friend that I grew up with died of leukemia about 6 or 7 years ago. And so I started a nonprofit in his memory that gives away scholarships. He was a rabid University of Alabama fan. I'm a rabid Auburn fan. And so we were very different in that regards, but and it's very painful sometimes because we raise money and give scholarships that goes to people who are graduating from our high school and going to the University of Alabama. Yeah. And so it's painful to me sometimes because I'm raising a fair amount of money to give to the University of Alabama. So and I say that joking because it's a very worthy. But he loved the University of Alabama. He loved Crimson Tide football and the band. He was in the band there. And so the scholarship goes to kids graduating from our alma mater high school, which is Shelby County High School, going to the University of Alabama, and preferably playing in the band.
Yeah.
They do. We give small scholarships to them every year, and we have for 7 or 8 years now. So it's a good outlet for me, with the loss of my best friend, and but anyway, so that's one of my proudest nonprofit.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's just laughing at you because you got to give money to the University of Alabama.
The first 4 years we did our fundraiser. We do a crawfish boil because he loved crawfish. The first 4 years it rained every single day of the event. It rained on us 4 years in a row. It was still a great success, but we always joked that he was doing that on purpose from heaven. And but we have a lot of fun with it. So that's one of my prouder nonprofit stories there. We've been very successful at it.
Yeah, I love it. So what? So where you talked about your dad being in the Senate. How long did he serve?
He served 12 years.
Oh wow! Okay.
And was and I'm partial. Obviously, he's my dad. But a super. He was in the Senate. He was a superb leader, and still is today. He's the county attorney for Shelby County, and just a wonderful, wonderful person, and did a lot of good things here. So he kind of set the bar high for me.
That was going to be my question.
So that's the hard part. But he did wonderful things, and just watching his service and watching him from a distance and watching the good side of politics, but also seeing the bad side of politics. That you sometimes it's a thankless job, and people beat up on you, and there are tough votes. I mean that's what we're here for. Anybody can do the easy stuff and do the easy votes, but the tough votes are the hard ones, and you get beat up. And we knew what we were signing up for, so we get that. But but watching him, I kind of got a taste of both, but still perfectly willing to.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, did seeing your dad do this, like, did it ever deter you, or like, did it, I guess, attract you more to this? Like, what?
I think it attracted me more to it, but it did help me understand that it's not all roses. You know, it's not. I mean, there's tough parts, and when you come down here, you meet all these wonderful people. Some on the same side of the fence as you, and some on the other side of the fence, but all good people that are here representing their districts and doing the best. And what they think, because we all have common goals.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
We all want to help people. Yeah. We all want the state of Alabama to be the best it can be. I want our kids to have as much opportunity as any other kid in the country.
Oh, yeah.
We all want those things. Our opinions differ a little, and most of the time it's not a tremendous amount.
Yeah.
You know, the truth be told. But our opinions differ on how we get there, and that sometimes is the rub between party lines.
Yeah.
But make no mistake about it. Everybody's here trying to do
the same thing.
Trying to do the same thing and accomplish good things. And together, you know, if you look at how we're different, we can name a fair amount of ways that even you and I are different, or me and a colleague are different.
Yeah.
But if you start focusing on how are we the same,
exactly,
there's a lot more land under you when you start comparing how are we like, what do we think, what do we want, do we want the best for kids? Of course we want the best for kids,
right?
You know, so that's sometimes the hard part is focusing on that, but we've got to have the ability, and I think in our chambers there's a lot of people that are really good at agreeing to disagree.
Yeah.
You know, some of us hold grudges, and we all do, and it hurts your feelings when this happens or that happens, but overall we do a pretty good job of disagreeing and then moving on to the next topic. Once that topic's over, okay, now let's move on to this topic, and how can is this better for the kids? Is this better for the state of Alabama?
Right.
And then we argue that one, and at the end of the day, we still go have dinner and talk and love one another, and that's what it's about. And we do a good job. Can we do better? Probably so. And things like you're doing, I think will help with that. I really do. And so it's exciting to see you doing this.
Yeah.
And
you
so,
literally answered like all my questions.
Well, I mean,
the next questions I was gonna have, like you hit it right in the park.
Well, you and I have known each other for a few years now, and so you know I could tell you and I agree on a lot of this stuff. That we've got to have differences, because here's the thing: if we all agreed all the time and thought the same way, one, that'd be extremely boring world. I mean, if we all dressed the same and thought the same and did the same, that'd be a very boring world. But two, we wouldn't accomplish as much good things. You need opposing views to keep everything in check.
I agree.
You know,
I totally agree.
Which side of the fence you're on, doesn't matter. You need opposing views, and the more views you have, it makes it difficult to meander through some issues sometimes. But the more opinions you have, the better the solution at the end of the day is going to be.
Yeah.
You know, because you're going to think of things that I wouldn't have thought of being from Shelby County. You know, and you may think of something different from this county and that county. Everybody's going to think different based on where they come from. A multitude of issues, and when you put all those views together in the hopper and you come out with a solution, that solution is going to always be better than if just one side decided to do this or that. And so it's fun to watch the process and watch that take place. Sometimes it really is.
I agree. So what committees do you serve on?
Okay. I'm on Education, Ways and Means, which you know handles all the budgeting for the education budget, K through 12 and higher education. That's a fun one. I enjoy it. Fun may be a strong word. Let me back up. It's a challenging one. An interesting one. And
so you love challenges.
It is fun, because when I got on that committee, I was excited to get on it because I thought this is probably where I can do the most good. You know, and as a legislator, what we do down here, the most important thing we do, in my opinion, are the two budgets, the general fund budget and the education budget. And of course, the education budget is so important because it's what makes our kids adults. You know, we see them from childhood and educate them up to hopefully where they're getting jobs and stuff. So it's a very important committee from that. But it does have its challenges. You know, we don't have unlimited resources, obviously, and so it's tough. We're in pretty good financial times now, and so when you have a more money than you did the previous year, it's nice. But on the flip side of that money disappears quick just because, there's so many needs out there, and they're all legitimate needs. We need to pay our teachers more because we have a retention problem and keeping recruitment and retention problem with our teachers. So we need to pay them more, but they also need more widgets in the classroom and things. So, it's where does that money go? And does it go to higher ed? And where? So there's all these legitimate, so it causes some challenges and some issues and some stress, when you're trying to decipher all that stuff. So outside of that, I'm vice chairman of insurance committee, which I enjoy that one as well. I'm on the governor appointed me to the committee on state parks. I love that one.
Oh, wow. Talk about great. That one. I never even knew that was a thing. Please talk about that.
It's a great one, and we kind of oversee what happens in the state parks, and we're kind of the oversight committee for that. And so and obviously my wife and I love, and our 8-year-old son, we love camping. We go to all these state parks, and so now it's and I've always had thoughts of, okay, well, this could be better in this park. Well, this could be better in this park. And so now I'm in a position where I can help make some of that that happen, because our quality of life in the state is very important to me, and a big aspect of that is having places where families can go together and have picnics and go together and fish and canoe and hike and do all these fun things. So, so I'm very proud of our state park system, and I'm anxious. I'm a new appointee to that one, so I haven't been on that one very long. And then I'm also on fiscal responsibility committee, and also reapportionment committee that'll really start meeting a lot after the census is done. And I'm on education policy, which kind of sets some of the policies for the education community and stuff. And all of them are great committees. But if I had to choose, I'd say
that was my question. If you had to choose, what's your favorite? Like, what do you enjoy the most?
I'm reading your mind.
You're reading my mind.
The state park ones is an easy favorite, just because I love the outdoors and love the state parks. But I would say education, ways and means, because I feel like that's where we can change the state of Alabama, is through the educating our kids better and giving them more opportunities. And so that one, state parks is probably more fun. Education, ways and means is more important to me. It's just where I feel like that's where we need to focus a lot of our time and energy is getting our kids, giving them every opportunity to be successful in life, and whether that's going to college or whether that's there's so many great jobs out there, so kids may not need and want to go to college. So workforce development and trade schools and getting them educated on and ready to enter the workplace. And so those are that's a very important committee to me. So I enjoy it from that aspect, because I think I can make a difference there. Yeah. So.
The state parks, do you as far, you talked about one park may need this, or another park may need this, just based on the parks that you go to. It's are you environmental, keeping the parks clean? Is that something that you're really adamant about?
Yeah, I am, because nature is best in its raw form of nature. So when you see trash and things in our creeks and our lakes and stuff, it takes away from the the beauty of it. And so that's something that I trained my son. My dad trained me, and then I trained my son, is we always leave a place cleaner than we found it. And that was my dad's, what he always said to me. And so I say that to my son everywhere we go. We pick up some trash, and maybe just be a little trash, but I'm also instilling that same concept in my son of it applies not just to let's pick up a little trash, let's leave the park cleaner than we found it, but let's leave this world better than we found it. Not just cleaner, but better. Is it better than our parents handed it to us? Right. Or are we handing our kids a world that's better than what our parents handed to us? And that's kind of my goal in life, and what I want to do. And I think a lot of people in the chambers and the legislature feel the same way. Let's leave it the best we can. Again, our opinions differ on how we get there, but we all have the same heart and desire of doing that. Now, back to leaving parks cleaner. We found I started real young with my son. He's 8 now. He's old enough to walk. We were doing that, 2 years old, hiking and stuff, and picking up trash. And I always leave it cleaner. And you found it. The problem with that is my son, would pick up nasty stuff. It would be all, and I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, and so I turn my back, and he'd be over there picking up a diaper off the ground or something, and I'd go, "Okay, son, and I told my wife, I was like, how do I train him to leave it cleaner, but leave that there.
Like that's not what
Daddy
I meant.
will pick that up or something. Don't touch that, please."
Right,
so it backfired on me a little bit, but he's adamant about picking up trash everywhere we go.
He gets it now.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not gonna pick up that dirty thing.
Yeah. And if we train all of our kids that way, they somebody's throwing this stuff out, and and they quit throwing it out. If we can just one generation, we can just train them all that this is not the thing to do. You can't throw stuff out your car window. You can't throw things in the lake. If we train one generation away from stopping that and making this place, just a cleaner, nicer,
exactly,
lovely place that God made it for us.
Right. So do you recycle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
We do. Let me tell you a story there. So we recycle in our community in Shelby County. They've got a recycling program countywide. Mm-hmm. The city we're in does their own recycling, so it's not part of the countywide thing. Or I say we do it in Columbiana. We have to take our recycling to a dumpster and throw plastic, paper, and all this stuff in there. Mm-hmm. And so we've always done that. My wife is meticulous. She rinses out the bottles, rinses out the cans, puts them in there. So we do all this recycling. Well, we routed our local landfill one time, and the recycling bin truck backed in and dumped the whole recycling thing into the landfill. Oh my gosh. She went absolutely nuts on me, like it's my fault. So at the time, I was on the county commission.
Okay.
And so anyway, so I make some phone calls. Turns out that somebody in that dumpster had dumped a bunch of household trash, had used it, and had pretty much ruined the recycling ability of that dumpster. And so we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
And so it was legitimate that they needed to be dumping that. But when my wife saw... And I was upset too, because I'm the one that she says, "Here, will you take these out to the recycling?" And my son and I are the ones always running the trash out there to it. And so I called the county guys and the company that was contracted to do it and said, "Wait a minute, this isn't my wife's mad. Was you making me mad?
Right.
So we can't do that." So anyway, it was legitimate. They hadn't done it, and I did set it up where before they could dump that load, if it's a certain percentage of household trash, because everybody's always using that as a dumpster. Mm-hmm. If it's a certain percentage, then they could go dump it, because it's not recyclable anymore. It's not considered recyclable.
Right.
But I made it the company in part of their contract to where before they could just go dump that, they had to have one of our county people come inspect it to confirm that it was. So I went that far with it. I was mad.
Yeah,
all that work, and they're dumping my bottles and stuff in the landfill. So we are big recyclers.
Yeah, big recyclers.
As a matter of fact, in the back of my truck now, I drive a pickup truck. In the back of it, from where my wife and I went to Nashville, and we stayed in a little Airbnb condo. They didn't have recycling in the building, and so there's a bag of cans in the back of my truck, because we brought all of our recycling home to recycle.
I'm proud. So that makes me happy.
We're into it.
Yeah, y'all are heavily into
it. That was 3 weeks ago, and the cans are still in the back of my truck. but I'm gonna get to it.
Right, you gonna get to it. Yeah. I love to recycle, so we're in the same boat.
It's part of leaving this place better than we found it. Because if we use all these cans and stuff, at some point all the landfills are going to be filled up. I mean, so it's an easy thing to do. Yeah. It's just a real easy thing to do, and it hurts me for people not to do it.
Yeah.
But and we'll get there. We're a generation away from training everybody that you've got to do this for the next generation.
Yeah. So do you see yourself like passing a piece of legislation dealing with like Clean Earth or cleaning Alabama? Alabama clean? I don't know, like.
I hadn't really thought about that, but I'm certainly not opposed to it, because you see my passion with it now.
Yeah, I see your passion, so I'm like, I wonder if you want to,
so I'm certainly not opposed to it. I don't know what that piece of legislation would look like, but I'm all for a cleaner environment and cleaner. Especially the littering thing, it bugs me. I mean, it's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, I don't like people littering either.
And it's something I just don't understand.
Yeah,
throw it out like somebody else ain't gonna have to pick it up.
Right, just wait for the trash can. Right, like just wait till you get home, you throw it in the trash. Like, and
what really kills me is when, like at our park in Columbiana, there'll be litter on the ground, and it'll be within 5 feet of a trash can. I'm like,
what are you doing? Like, did you not?
Yeah,
like,
there's a trash can right there.
Right there.
I mean, you had to want to litter to do it. You know, so it's aggravating.
You had to want to litter.
It's like, I mean, you know, just, I don't understand. Just take the whole train and dump it out or something. You know?
That's actually true though. Like, if the trash can is 5 feet away, you had to
right
want to litter.
It's one more step. I mean, you're lazy. You either really want to litter, or you're really lazy to not take that one more step.
One or the other, right?
One more step and throw it in the trash can. So, but you know, I wouldn't be opposed to some kind of anti-littering legislation. I don't know how we'd even beef that up and what the current law says, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. I can tell you that. So
I saw your passion. I was like, So, like, before you leave though, what is one ideal piece of legislation that you want to pass?
That is a really good question, and I don't know, and I guess I'll dodge your question a little bit, because I don't know what the ideal piece of legislation would be, but I do know that on that same concept we've been talking about and the education budget, and I want our kids to have as much opportunity as any other kid in the nation, even more opportunity, and I'm not sure they get that now, and so anything I can do to change that and change the face of our education system and give our kids those opportunities, whether it's college or whether it's workforce development or whatever it is, whatever I can do to do that, that's my passion. That's why I'm in Montgomery, and is to leave this place a little bit better than I found it. And I don't mean Montgomery, I mean the state of Alabama. And so that would be, not that I can define it down to one piece of legislation, but I want to leave Alabama better than I found it when I got here. And that's my ultimate goal. And if I can do that, at the end of the day, I can go home and be a happy man.
Oh yeah.
So that's my goal.
Well, you've answered all my questions even more.
Oh, good.
And I like to play a little game
Uh-oh.
called What Do You Know? I Googled Columbiana, but I couldn't find a lot. And I've been to Columbiana, so I'm just going off of, like, what I know.
When were you in Columbiana? You didn't stop and see?
When was I in Columbiana? Maybe, like... It was before I knew you, though.
Oh, so it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah, it was a while ago.
So is this what do you know, or is it going to be more like what do you not know? It's going to be bad.
It's going to be what you know. I mean, it's going to be pretty easy. So
all right, here we go.
if you hear you're going to hear like a downward bell if you get it wrong. And then you'll hear.
It's going to be a buzzer?
Yeah, it's going to be a buzzer. You'll hear a downward bell if you get it wrong. And upward ding if you get it right.
Here we go.
Which, I mean, one of the questions that I had, which I've been asking, you already got right, I guess, in a sense. So I'll go with that one first. So Roll Tide or War Eagle?
War Eagle. That's enough for
you got that right.
Right,
that's
good. Good.
You got that right.
Does that mean you're an Auburn fan?
I mean, yeah, for the sake, I like Auburn.
I didn't want to have to throw you out of my office.
No, you. See, that's the thing. Like, I like Auburn basketball more than I do the football. So I'm kind of.
I get it.
Yeah, so I guess I could flip. I don't know. What would you call that? What would you say?
A traitor.
A traitor. A traitor. Okay. All right. I'll take it.
What'd you say your passions with basketball?
Yeah.
Auburn basketball. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just for the sake of you not kicking me out your office.
I certainly don't want to insult the lady asking me these tough questions. So.
Okay. So the next question is what cities you answered this too. What cities are in your district?
Okay. There's Calera, Chelsea, Columbiana, Wilsonville, and I get a little bit of Harpersville. And then I get a lot of unincorporated Shelby County, the community of Shelby, which is south of Columbiana. So I get all that.
See. You got that right. The next question, what is the golf course?
Magnolia Meadows.
Oh.
Yes.
You on the road. I can't. I'm trying to you on the road. Okay. What is the school near your town? The college.
University of Montevallo.
Yeah. These are easy, right?
I'm doing so good.
These are easy. Okay, who was the representative before you?
Mike Hill.
That's it. Like, you won.
So what do I win?
Just those.
Just
I don't
bragging
have.
rights.
Yeah,
just bragging rights.
I don't. Yeah, just bragging rights. I don't have a prize. Maybe
the next representative you have on your podcast, if they don't get them all, you can let them know that Representative Ellis got all of his.
All of his. Right.
Of his questions. There you go. Make the next one tough.
All of his questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Oh no, I do have a bonus question. What is one sign? Okay, can I tell this story?
I guess.
So the way that me and Representative Ellis met is I taught him sign language, little sign language. Yep. Every day he learned a new sign, and it literally was the highlight of my day. So what's one sign that you remember?
I remember how to spell my name.
Okay,
can we do that?
Yeah, do that. They can't see it,
but you can. You can grade me.
I can see it. I can grade you.
Corley.
Yes, you get all of it. Yes.
No, I forgot everything.
Everything else, but yeah. So that's the last question.
Oh, I did good then.
Yeah, you did. You won.
All right. Won.
Well,
awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on this show, and it was so much fun interviewing you and getting to know a side that I didn't see before.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for people who have served, like, for real, and really mean that, and aren't up here just for the accolades, and, you know, because it's like you said, it isn't roses, and, you know, you've been serving people since forever.
Yeah, well, and a sincere thank you for doing this and having me on here, because I think this is a good platform to bring us closer together. You know, people that think different and don't come from the same areas, and I think that's healthy. Across the board. Yeah. I really do. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, you guys, we're out. This is Evolve America, evolving America one conversation at a time. See you next time. Well, that was the first episode, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for next week, where we will be dropping a new episode every Sunday. Until next time, let's evolve America, one conversation at a time.